So during the first semester, I wrote a paper on the Serengeti National Park in Tanzania, Africa, and how it needs to be conserved and protected. So during my paper, I actually went to the Serengeti National Park in Tanzania, Africa. We took a 3-week trip. And during this trip, I actually got to have a first-hand look and actually experience what I was writing about in my paper. I held up on my conclusion until I actually came home so I could really put my perspective into my paper. So all the photos and videos that I have in this big video are all videos and photos that I took from my phone during my trip. So now I'll get started. Everybody loves and cherishes the place they call home. It's a place where we can go at the end of the day and relax and do the activities we enjoy. Our families live in our homes, therefore we should keep our homes in a safe and pleasant state. One of the biggest animal homes in the world is in Tanzania, Africa, and that is the Serengeti National Park. The Serengeti National Park is home to over 1.3 million blue wildebeest, 200,000 plain zebras, 400,000 Thompson gazelles, as well as lions, cheetahs, hyenas, and other countless mammals and amphibians. The Serengeti isn't just a home to these animals, it's also home to the world's largest migration known as the Great Migration. The Serengeti National Park has been assessed as a significant concern according to World Heritage Outlook, which means that the Serengeti needs to be protected now, and it is urgent. So here's a video of me right outside my tent. There were some zebras. They didn't run after me or anything, but one made a noise that kind of scared me, so I ran away. The Greater Serengeti grassland ecosystem is huge. It's over 6,900 square miles large, and the grasslands can be compared to the state of Connecticut, making it really hard to conserve. If poaching continues at the rate that it's going right now, both rhinos and elephants could vanish from the wild as soon as 2034. Poaching is a huge problem in the Serengeti. An estimated 200,000 animals die each year from poaching in the Serengeti Park. The fast increase of human settlement and expansion around the Serengeti is a huge concern, and the Serengeti National Park is not gated because the animals need to get out and migrate, which means that some of the animals will go outside of the park, and that just is not good because those areas aren't protected like the park is. There's so many numerous other reasons for the Serengeti to be preserved. The lands of the Serengeti contain over 1,500 different types of wild and exotic animals, many who are at risk of being endangered. Every time a species is erased from this earth, it'll never come back, and this is something many don't think deeply enough about. So after visiting the Serengeti, we took about a 4-5 hour drive from any type of civilization to go visit the Hadzabe people, which is a tribe of people that are completely, basically untouched from any type of civilization. They dress with animal skins, they hunt their food, they're hunter-gatherer people, so they don't really stay in the same place at all. We really took a risk not knowing if they were going to be there or not because they really don't stay around for too long. So we got there and they were there, and we brought a translator along with us. He was just a local guy, and he actually helped us communicate with the tribe, and he was definitely helpful because the people here, they only communicate in clicking noises and they don't speak any language that we would know at all. This was their little tree hangout, and this was their hay hut, I guess that's what you could call it, and they had some gazelle skins in there from some animals that they hunt, and they don't waste anything at all of the animal. They'll use the bones, the meat, the fur. So I had a video of a fresh gazelle head they got, but it was pretty graphic, so I didn't want to get censored or anything. But here are the tribes people, the Hadzabe people, and these are the men that hunt and gather. So they grow this plant substance that's very similar to weed, and here's a video of one of the tribesmen smoking it. Baby here is really mesmerized by this. They tried showing me how they make fires by rubbing the stick really fast with the friction onto the hay/grass, and I wasn't that good at it at all. I couldn't even make a spark, but they were able to. Then we went along for a little hunting trip with them. They have all these different types of arrows with different types of poisons that they get from different plants and berries, and each arrow is used for a different type of animals, and they have to be really careful with these arrows because if they poke themselves or hit someone else with it, they could potentially kill somebody. So it was a little scary, but I had a good time with it. Oh, here's a little bird that they shot, and they will definitely be eating it. Here's another bird, and they definitely will be eating this one as well. So here again is another bird, and this one is a little broken, I would say, but they'll definitely still eat it and use the feathers for decoration. Then they had me try to shoot the arrow. I wasn't very good at it, but it was really cool to try. My experience with the Hadzabe people was something that's not even like once in a lifetime. It was something that I would have never even imagined doing, going to visit a tribe in the middle of Africa. It was definitely an experience that opened up my eyes, and I'm ever so grateful for it, and I really hope to return and visit them again someday. During my trip, I really was able to experience firsthand how the people lived out there in rural Africa, and I was able to experience how the animals lived in Tarangire, Lake Manyara, Mkomazi, Ngorongoro Crater, and Pakai Crater in the Serengeti National Park. Serengeti was definitely way bigger than I would have ever imagined it to be. There were so many animals everywhere. There was always something in sight. And a huge difference that I noticed with the animals that I saw in the wild and the animals that I've seen back home in New York is that the animals were free and looked happier. The animals were always moving around, running, and playing. One thing that stood out to me the most was the elephant and the rhino's eyes. Their eyes did not look sad like in the zoos. Their eyes in the Serengeti did not look sad. In the zoos, the elephants and the rhinos are in small little dusty enclosures with 1 or 2 plastic balls. The animals in the enclosures just walk around in circles, sadly glaring at fellow zoogoers, kicking around the tiny plastic balls. The animals in the Serengeti are living the best quality of life that is possible for them, and that's in the wild. After visiting the area for 3 weeks, I experienced how important these animals are to our ecosystem. The Serengeti must be conserved to ensure its everlasting beauty. Thank you for watching my video, and I'm glad I got to share my experience.